Hello, people!
Hi, people.
Uh,
Hello. Do
oh,
we
oh,
have sound?
Então, mas íamos começar em português ou em inglês, afinal?
começamos em português, pronto.
Não sei, eu comecei a falar inglês quando o Nuno começou a falar inglês, tipo.
Yeah.
I went with the flow.
Oh,
Boa
Ruben.
tarde, pessoal.
Oh, Ruben,
Não sei se é.
o que é que a Iris tem na mão hoje, pá?
Não sei.
Ela quer dizer alguma coisa contra a gente?
Aquilo é um brinquedo estranho.
Tenho.
E acabou de matar
Eu acho
o
que
Kiba.
matou o Kiba agora.
Tenho uma espada. Ok, não. Eu não quero
Isto foi em live.
Ele não quer aparecer. Ele só quer miminhos, mas não quer aparecer.
Isto
Tu
foi em
já deste
live.
cabo do Kiba
Coitado
antes de
do
começar o programa Phonics.
Tipo, eu nem estou aqui. Eu, na realidade, isto já foi. Isto é uma gravação.
É.
Ah, pronto.
Sim.
Eu já nem estou cá.
Isto está muito bem sincronizado.
Está muito bem
já.
sincronizado. Só o trabalho.
Mas olha
Muito
que
bem.
falta de melhor, a gente conseguia fazer isto. Pensando bem.
Mas pronto, olha, estamos aqui live do meu quintal para
Olha.
mais uma stream.
Uma live de quintal hoje.
Os teus vizinhos não vão aparecer aí a dizer adeus, para não?
Espero que a minha vizinha não se lembre de vir aqui apanhar roupa.
Isso ainda tiver um quintal partilhado.
Exato. Não sou assim tão rica ainda.
Então essa vizinha já viu coisas, de certeza.
Já viu coisas?
Espero que não, senão.
Mas esta semana passada viu coisas do Leon Chiro. Ele depois acabou por publicar tudo, por isso que se lixe.
Se calhar.
Pois é, bem-vindos.
Olá pessoal, bem-vindos a mais um live, mais um domingo connosco. Obrigado por estarem aqui.
O pessoal
Já
deve...
sabem, se quiserem fazer perguntinhas, estão à vontade. Hoje não temos muito tempo, porque o Nick também não tem muito tempo, infelizmente. Vamos ter que fazer isto tipo o programa Flash, mas...
É vizinha.
O Kiba hoje quer participar com a gente.
Não, afinal a vizinha apareceu.
Ok. Então...
Não, vamos falar em português ainda.
Vamos falar português.
Pessoal, então apresento o Nick, que eu já volto.
Está bem. Então vá. Vamos fazer então
Ok,
uma pequena introdução.
A Iris foi-se embora?
Elas vêm já. Vamos fazer só a intro então do nosso convidado.
Ok, bora lá. E já sabem, pessoal, a seguir em inglês.
Yeah. Enganei-me, peraí. Intro do convidado.
Deixa a música do fim. Yeah, but Iris went away with Nick. I don't know where they are.
There you are.
Hello there. Hi,
There
Nick.
is Nick. No. Hello there.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Oh,
That's great.
that's great.
Thank you so much for accepting Iris' invitation.
Yeah,
She was the one who did all the invites. And are you ready for our questions?
I don't think it's a case if I'm ready or not. Let's go for it.
Oh, that's a good answer.
First of all, let me tell you, I love your accent.
Oh, thank you very much, Loon.
And hello to everybody who's on the live chat. You know, as I told you before, you can do all kinds of questions. I don't know if you answer everything. But
probably something.
I will try my best.
Okay.
okay.
And if I don't know the answer, I'll make it up.
Okay.
Okay, that's great.
That's great. Okay.
Okay, no. Can you start with the first question?
Oh, it's me again. Okay.
Yes.
Nick, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do for living.
Oh dear. How long have you got? So, born and raised in very, very sunny Scotland where it never rains and the whiskey runs like fresh water. But what do I do for a living? I'm a living history interpretation. So I go into castles, historic sites, and I bring the history to life. So whether that's William Wallace running around chasing sheep, or Iron Age man, a Roman, a Jacobite, a World War II soldier, whatever's needed, I will be the idiot doing it. In the nicest possible sense. I also give tours around Scotland. So I work for two very, very good companies who will do Harry Potter tours, Outlander tours, which is apparently popular.
Okay.
Scottish history tours, and my favorite whiskey tours.
Oh, okay. Probably.
And when I'm not doing that, I'm annoying people with singing.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. I was going to ask you what do you enjoy the most, but you already said it's the whiskey tours.
Oh, well. I would enjoy it more if I got to taste them.
Oh,
that's a shame. Oh, hello, Rita. How are you?
Hello.
Okay, so you already answered the second question. Iris, do you want to do the third one?
Yeah. So basically, what we learn in school isn't really much about Scotland. So for us, it's really like, yeah, Scotland's like, it's England. So this question comes a bit from
Remember that he has an X on his hand.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So why should people visit Scotland instead of England?
Because we're better.
That's a good answer. That's a quick answer.
Because
that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yes, Scotland and England share a lot of history. From the castles to the Iron Age to the Romans coming up, and the English basically saying, "Hi, we love you," to the Scots going, "No, we don't love you." So why should you visit Scotland? Well, as you can see, we order in the sun, especially for people. It never rains. That's a lie. It rains a lot, but that doesn't put you off.
Okay.
The countryside is gorgeous. The people are fantastically friendly, except in certain areas. They will more likely stab you than say hello.
Oh, okay.
What kind of areas?
But we have one thing that England doesn't have.
What
whiskey distilleries.
Yes.
We have haggis, neeps, and tatties. We have the kilt.
Yeah.
And we have the gorgeous Highlands.
True.
Where it doesn't matter where you go. You could drive down a main road. You could find yourself usually lost on some non-main road, and you will find gorgeous countryside.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just be warned of the midges.
Midges is like small mosquitoes, kind of?
Mosquitoes on steroids.
Yes, there's a lot.
Damn.
Please warn you.
Yes.
Mosquito with steroids.
Okay. Mosquito Rex.
Mosquito Rex.
I have to think about going to Scotland because I'm a magnet to mosquitoes, so. Yeah.
Well, then let's just go camping or something, and that means they'll all go to you, and I can just chilling.
I'll be on my corner attracting all the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Every campsite. You could hire yourself out to camping parties.
Yes.
I would do a lot of money. I put the net over me, and all the mosquitoes be all over me again. So. Yeah. So Nuno, do you want to do the fourth question?
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
Oh.
that one. Yeah, that one.
Oh, that one. Okay. If people want to know about Scotland, should they watch Braveheart? Okay.
That's a big no.
I won't say Braveheart is a terrible film. It is not a terrible film. It is about as historically accurate as Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
Just to break it down, the blue face paint, that was something that was used in 83 AD against the Romans. The kilt was something that was used in 1745 at Culloden.
Oh.
William Wallace wore chainmail, trousers, and a long tunic, and he did not speak with an Australian accent.
So the
Not
answer
a terrible
is
film,
no.
just a very poor representation of. They tried to put everything of Scotland in one place.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like, what do you think of Scotland? Okay, this. Okay, let's just mash it all together
Yes.
and call it Scotland.
Yeah.
They run around, they show their bums, they wear their kilts, they wear blue face paint, and
No. Okay.
just no.
No.
There's other films that are supposedly Scottish or about Scottish history. Is there any that would particularly tell people?
Right.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I'm not gonna.
What about Shrek?
Shrek. Scotland is not a swamp, and we are not ogres.
You have
I mean,
donkeys.
We have many, many donkeys, and that's just the children. But movies to portray Scotland: Rob Roy, Liam Neeson. A phenomenal film. Rob Roy was a real person. He dressed as Liam Neeson did. Liam Neeson, yes, he's Irish, but he has a very good Scots twang on his voice. He does very well. Tim Roth is a fantastic bad guy and plays the government troop very, very well. Rob Roy is a fantastic film. The latest couple that have come out, so there is The Outlaw King, that was on Netflix.
Mhm.
It is better than Braveheart until you see that they're wearing tights and that their mothers have put bowls over their heads to do haircuts.
Okay.
And for anyone who still gets their mother to cut their hair with a bowl over the head, I'm sorry, but
Would you say
I
that
don't have hair for that. So.
Irish actors make a better Scottish accent than English people?
yes, there's a lot of very big similarities between a Scottish accent and an Irish accent. It's softer, there's more R's, oohs, ich, and achs. Whereas the English go, oh my.
What
Oh, yes, what?
Oh.
Yeah, you still do a great English accent.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm thinking about the Scottish character from Samurai Jack as well. Do you
Samurai
remember-
Jack.
do you remember
Oh,
that?
Oh.
the big red angry Scotsman who runs around. He's ginger, he wears a kilt, and he has a sword.
Oh, I
Yes,
remember that one.
Could
That
anyone
character.
put more of a stereotypical Scotsman in something? No, they could not.
Okay.
But
Why were you
it's-
calling me Iris?
I don't know. I think my
She's,
hand moved on its own.
she's butt dialing from her hand. I don't know how that's possible. Kiba, yes, Kiba, how dare you? But if you want a very good film, Highlander.
Oh.
Highlander has nothing to do with Scottish history. It has a Scotsman, Sean Connery, playing an Egyptian, a Frenchman playing a Scotsman, and an
Oh.
American playing a Russian.
Oh.
Welcome to Scotland.
Yeah.
It's a mashup of things.
Might watch that tonight.
Mm.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid.
Okay, so we also know that you're a reenactor. How have you got into reenactment?
So I've been reenacting now for over 12, 13 years now. And I started off, so where I am in Scotland in the northeast, so where Iris is in Aberdeen, I'm 16 miles out of it. And near me is a place, used to be a place called Archaeolink. And it was a case of living archaeology. So Stone Age, Iron Age, Romans, Vikings. And you could, the tour guides dressed up, they taught you how to make fire, which teaching kids to make fire in a wood, when you look back, kind of goes, but we took people around and I learned a lot about my history there. And then this group came in and they fought each other, they hit each other, they smacked axes over each other's heads, swords against the shins, they stabbed each other, and then they shook hands and drank whiskey.
That's a nice thing.
And I just had to say, how do I get involved with this? And they took me on board, and I now reenact multiple periods because they just went, yes, what can you do? You play guitar, you like whiskey, and you like stabbing people. Welcome to reenactment.
Oh,
That's all you
okay.
need.
Yes. What do you know about history? I don't know much yet. Good. We will teach you. Come with us.
At least they teach you.
That sounds like a cult.
Yeah,
Kind of.
in the finish, you drink whiskey. Yeah,
This interview's over. They're a wonderful group of people.
But they don't do sacrifices, do they?
We have crucified someone,
Oh,
but that was with spears and cream pies.
Okay.
He didn't know it was happening. Just a spear was shoved down the back of his tunic. A spear was shoved through his sleeves. He was lifted up,
oh,
stuck in the ground with his feet dangling off and cream pies just thrown at him. And porridge.
oh.
That's a good way to go.
Why not?
By the way, porridge is like a vaya.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if everyone knows because I didn't know till.
So I guess
came here.
that's like porridge then.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. Just in Portuguese because I didn't know when I came here that what porridge was. Yes, like, but it's just a word, okay? Just word.
It's just words.
Just a word.
Words hurt, Iris.
But
You live there for how long? And you didn't know that?
Huh?
You live there for how long and you didn't know that?
no, like when I came here, I didn't know what porridge was the
Oh,
name,
okay.
so I didn't know it was vaya. That's just it.
Okay.
Okay.
I was actually speaking to someone like yesterday or something, and she was telling me about archaeology. What's the name of it? So basically, archaeology people try to do things how they were done in the past. Is that something you consider you guys do?
Theoretical archaeology or experimental archaeology.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
exactly.
So that is they've got one part of the formula, and they don't have the middle bit. So they try and do different experiments, different crafts, different ideas, and see how it works. So we have an axe head, we have a shaft. How exactly would they make sure it stays on? Let's try different things and see which one works the best. What we do, we don't really do the experimental archaeology. The point of reenactment is to do what's already been done and to portray that to the public. So we call it living history. Whereas if the experimental archaeology was to give us something new, we could then take that and put that into what we already do and show them. But we can't go, we think this, because then we are archaeologists without degrees.
Mm.
It's
Okay.
a very hard subject.
Yeah. Well, I guess like there's always these sort of gray areas.
Yeah. Okay, Iris, want to do the sixth question?
So since we're talking about reenactment, can you explain? Well, I guess you kind of explain now, but
Yeah.
what is reenactment and what is its role in nowadays culture?
So reenactment, to make it a bit easier to understand, we have cosplay, LARP, and reenactment.
Mm-hmm.
Cosplay is you can become any character from any genre, fandom, any concept drawing, anything that is out there, even your own interpretation of it. So that is cause it can be anything. It's your own imagination and your own confidence, really. LARP is more, they do some combat stuff, but it's mostly foam, so safety. And it's more the fantasy kind of Dungeons and Dragons role, bringing it to life. Where these people, they will live, if you're a king, the moment you step onto your LARP grounds, you are the king. Everyone bows to you and respects you. And some people go way over the top, and it's amazing to see how far people love to go with this, but that's their passion. Reenactment is we take events that have already happened and we reenact it modern. So the Battle of Bannockburn, Culloden, James Douglas, one of Scotland's greatest knights, taking Robert the Bruce's heart to Tiba in Spain. We talk about these things and we reenact them. We fight using weapons that are the same style as they were, which are all steel. And the armor's the same weight. We wear costumes. I say costumes, clothing. I would get punched if I said costume.
Yeah.
Oops. But we have to have it done the same patterns as they did back in the 1300s. The same clothing, the same itching, the same scratching.
Yeah, because in the end, once you put all of the layers, that's a lot of weight.
Oh.
Because I mean, you have to.
So we have our underwear, which is linen. Itchy underwear.
Yeah.
We have our woolen tunics and our woolen legs. Then we have our padded armor, which is about a duvet wrapped around you. Then you've got your mail, which is you're looking anywhere between 4 to 5 stone in armor. And then any plate metal bits, then you're running around. As well as whatever's going on your head, your legs, excess. The helmets can weigh anywhere between 0.5 stone to 1.5 stone.
Jeez.
I don't know how much. Stone
so I think you're looking at adding anywhere between 50 to 70 kilograms on your body.
Whoa.
Damn, that's a lot.
Really?
And then running around like an idiot, hitting each other.
Ah, okay.
But it's fun.
Oh, it's fun. You see, you can tell the people who have done it for a long time because at the first charge, they'll just walk.
Okay.
You'll see people go running in. Nope, I will walk. I will take my time. I will save my energy, and I will fight you. Who's now going? I want to 2 minutes. Fight.
Okay.
Then
Okay,
this
so
reminds
that's
me of something because
yeah.
in Battlefield, like how it used to be. So the weapons weren't exactly deadly, right? Because you had all that armor, you would still take a while to actually kill someone, right?
It's very hard to narrow that down to what was deadly and what wasn't, because everything's got a weakness. Everything has a strength. It's the same, the chink in the armor. You're looking for the hole, the little weakness. Helmets they had very narrow eye slots. So if you could push someone over, you could have someone whose iris size just sit on their chest, pin them down, and put a knife through the helmet slot and stab them in the eye. And suddenly that's someone who is heavily a walking tank has been beaten by this.
Yeah.
Horses with knights on them, the easiest way to stop that is to kill the horse. The horse goes down, knight falls down, suddenly black, he's trapped. Peasants, anyone who's not nobility and not rich, they're wearing basically what we're wearing today. They don't get any protection. They're standing there in their clothes going, why am I here with a stick?
Yeah.
Because they would use their tools of work, basically, right?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. The only weapon that was ever created for warfare was the sword. An axe was used for trees, a hammer for metal, a spear is just a very, very tall hedge trimmer.
Okay.
I thought it was just literally a weapon people made.
Okay, I have a question here on the live chat. Amar Talks is asking, do you compete in any kind of medieval sport?
I do not. I attempted a few times to do this, but the timing of the practices and when they were just clashed too much with me. I would love to. HEMA, Battle of the Nations, IMCB, IC, International Medieval Battle. But there's lots of these different organizations out there. It's becoming bigger and bigger, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah.
And the armor the guys are wearing is ridiculous. You can just hit them and hit them and hit them, and they laugh at you.
Okay.
A lot of them have very simple rules. If anything touches the ground apart from your feet, you're out.
Ooh.
So you can run at someone and do a drop kick.
Yeah.
And just knock them down. It's a fantastic world to get into. If you ever get a chance to, look up Battle of the Nations 24v24. 24 people on either side just running into each other.
Yeah, I remember seeing like a trailer of it, and it just seemed like something out of this world. And then so it's nations because there's actually teams from different countries.
There is.
I think we've had a team at some point, but it's something really hard to really keep up. So I'm not sure if they're always there. But yeah, it's like you say, it looks really crazy.
It looks like rugby gone wrong.
Oh.
If rugby players could do what they wanted to, you have Battle of the Nations.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. You've got guys with axes like that on 12-foot poles, just swinging them like baseball bats.
Do that again. Do it again. I didn't see the
right,
swing. Yeah.
This is gonna be like the
Shut up the hell.
Did you ever get seriously hurt in reenactment?
I've broken fingers in the middle of a fight and had to continue.
Damn.
No.
And only when coming off, just seeing the fact that one was completely out of place and one was out there looking, going, okay.
This is not right.
Bang! Damaged knees, been knocked out.
Knocked out?
Yes, but a complete accident. Or so they say. So they say.
Wow, okay.
But this was during the reenactment or after it with all the whiskey?
All the whiskey.
Oh no, if it was whiskey, I'd be fine and relaxed and rolling about, no problem. But it was during the fights.
Oh, okay.
In fact, one of the pictures you showed with myself, 2 swords in hand, kicking one of my friends.
Yeah.
It was that fight.
I'm showing right now.
He managed to bring it right in on my hand there. There's a video somewhere on YouTube where you just see me having to drop the sword and just put my thumb round the end of the other one going, ow, 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 ow. And when you got the crowd going, Wallace, Wallace, you don't want to go, my hand hurts. Please, can we fight tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a very physical sport, so people have to expect to be hurt despite having all the protective equipment.
Every sport has a risk, and reenactment and the full contact, the medieval tournaments, they're exactly the same. The HEMA, so HEMA uses not steel, but almost like a synthetic plastic.
Oh, okay.
It'll still slap. It's still solid. It will still hurt if you get hit in just the right place.
In the right place.
Just like that.
Oh. Really? Oh.
I know. I have to be nice, apparently.
No, you can't do it. Yeah.
He has to be nice just for now.
Just for now.
Okay, so I had my warning here. We're going to do a little break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See you
So
soon.
see you.
Bye, Iris.
If
Bye.
try. Okay. See you. people, we are back again.
We are back. Iris is already being hit by Nick.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Really? Ah!
Stop!
Okay, people. So we're going to have a little demonstration about what reenactment is. But we asked to Nick to be full medieval, but Iris doesn't want to.
Middle medieval, not full.
No, full medieval. Go for it.
I don't remember anything at this point.
Oh.
So, with the group I'm with, we do things a little bit different. Every reenactment group has a different combat style.
Mhm.
Some
Okay.
will just let people loose on each other, and that's when injuries will happen. It's a bit like going to a martial arts class and just saying, go fight him.
Mhm.
So some will offer tests going, right, good, we believe you're good enough to work with this weapon, so go train with it, go practice with it, then we'll test you, and if we think you're good enough, you can go safely. What we like to do is a bit like martial arts. We teach them a kata, a movement set, and then they have a chance to almost work with partners. They can, if they're not confident to go and just fight,
Mhm.
they can go, well, you're not confident, I'm not confident, let's just put a little routine together and play about with these katas and these movements until maybe a year down the line they go, right, can we just fight?
Yeah.
So we offer them a chance. And
Before you fight Iris, can you show us a little bit of that kata that you were talking about?
Yeah.
so some of the basic ones are teach them how to guard themselves properly. So above the head, so anything below is going to smack you on the noggin.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Guarding your shoulders, moving in little movements. We use bits from Book of Longsword, which would end up coming across.
Okay.
Mhm.
So everything moves and flows. There's no wasted movements. Whereas if you were just to chop and chop and chop, your arms get sore, the blade gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Everything is all about blocking, parrying, and swaying into something.
Mhm. Okay.
Almost waterbending.
Oh yeah, nice. Can you talk just a little bit about your swords that you have there?
So the weapons that we get to use are short spear, long spear,
Mhm.
mace, axe, flail, which is the ball and chain,
Mhm.
long sword, broadsword, dagger, bow, arrow. What else uses something? Hammer,
Mhm.
and the occasional flaming weapon.
Occasionally.
because.
Just because.
Why not?
Why not?
Not warm enough here in Scotland. We need to produce heat somehow.
Do a little barbecue.
That's why you breathe fire?
Yeah.
I have to. I can't handle spicy curries. That's what happens.
Okay.
It's
See what
difficult.
happens the other end.
It's,
So a few of the ones I've got with me
It's fire
are
all over it.
all the weapons that we have that we display, we use. So every one of them's got a little mark, a scratch, a scuffed handle, the odd break. So likes of axes. Axes can be up to the size of your head to smaller. You can throw them if you want, but it's a waste of a weapon. You're standing there going.
Yeah.
okay.
So big axes, small axes, and of course blunt ends for getting if someone really annoys you. For just getting right in the thighs, and leaving hooking shields and smacking helmets. Everything's fun. Yeah. The shorter swords.
Okay.
Nice and lovely, and my favorite bit is they sing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So everything is made from modern day steel. This one is, let's see. This one's sitting about 15 years old now.
Oh.
Nice.
Nice.
Is chewed up at the sides, but it keeps going. And the best thing is,
it's bendy. Nice.
It's flexible. It will hit, move.
Okay.
So it'll tell you when you don't hit right. But we don't keep chewing up our swords in practice, so we do use the HEMA blades.
Mhm.
It means that we can practice. They're a bit longer, sometimes a bit more weightier than what we use, so that when we get to use our ones, it's lighter.
They weight.
heavier.
Those ones weight more than the steel ones.
Oh yeah, roughly
Nice.
about the same to more.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's also longer, like you were saying, so it makes sense.
It just ties
You
into
mean-
a long sword.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are what we call hand and a halves.
Mm.
Our modern term for them is, and I don't know where the term came from, bastard sword.
sorry.
Okay. Bastard sword. Bastard sword.
Ah,
And I
bastards.
don't know why they call it that. It's,
Probably they kill a lot of bastards.
Probably.
if you're at the right battle, there might be. So
Come
you
here,
have about
bastard.
one hand,
Yeah.
or two.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
these are where your early editions, the kind of the claymores that we see Braveheart running about with. This is where these come from.
Mhm.
That
Okay.
comes from. So these are the much earlier, much better versions, even down to the grips.
Mhm.
Pulling move, and it means you can hook them.
Mm.
If you want to, you get up close and you just smack it into their eye.
Okay.
Just
Nice.
like that. Okay.
Nice big pommel for hitting with the hammer or for directing. Again, it's movements. It's like water, earth, fire, air bending.
Oh,
Everything moves flowing.
Okay.
okay. Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I really never thought about till I had my classes with you. Like, oh yeah, you can actually use all of the sword. It's not just the blade
the
itself.
blade.
When we look at late 1500s, there's a great book called the Book of the Longsword,
Mhm.
and it teaches you that you don't just use the blade to hit. You use the handle to hook, to punch,
Oh.
then finish.
Now
Okay.
try that. Not simulating, but do it that really.
But it's brilliant because, likes of these, if you would hit
Jesus.
someone who's wearing armor, you're going to chip sword.
Oh.
Right gloves, you've got a nice thick padded
Yeah.
glove there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just use the hammer.
Oh.
Aim for behind the knees, elbows, armpits, jaw, ears, or for us gentlemen,
In the
that area.
nuts.
the
Okay.
nuts,
In the nuts.
So
right in the
all
squishies.
when you are in battle, nothing is prepared. You go into battle and you do whatever comes to mind, right? Nothing is acting.
We have, so what we do is for ourselves, what we prepare is because we go into certain castles, we like to prepare a show
Okay.
that is centered around that castle. So, for example, Stirling Castle is a stunning castle in the centre of Scotland, and one of the most famous battles there was Bannockburn, where it was Robert the Bruce and this huge thing happened. So we like to portray that. So what we normally do is have someone who is very, very good on a microphone, speaking, doing the Robert the Bruce, I'm here, giving up to me, woo, freedom, woo, woo. And then we have a fight. And then we call a break, and we allow the guys to get some water, especially on a hot day when it's wearing all of that kit. And the bad guy and the good guy will come together and they'll fight and they'll argue, and then we'll send a couple of people out just to scrap a clash of champions. And then everyone just gets called in and scraps at the end.
Oh.
Okay. Okay then. So
And
do you want
occasionally-
to do the demonstration with Iris?
Yes. So
Full medieval, please.
Yeah. 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 Full medieval.
Iris used to come to one of my classes, which was teaching basic stage combat. So stuff that you would see in the films, you see all these extras running about. And they were using basic movements. So one of my favorite exercises for free combat, which is out with the katas and movements, is wild threes. I'm going to hit Iris 3 times, anywhere I want. She has one job. Do not let me.
Okay.
Failed.
Nice.
Okay, now do
So
it
the-
again and hit her.
You hit me.
And just for good measure, 3 times.
Okay. You're dead again.
Nice.
So, in reenactment, you have to be a swordsman, right?
No,
No?
that's so a swordsman. If we were to look at, say, swordsman being the top level, if you come into reenactment and you start, normally we'd start you at the bottom with a spear, not a lot of armor, just getting used to all the chaos that's going on around you. And then you go up to an axe, maybe a mace, maybe a dagger and a shield, up to a sword. So that you're not just going in there and everyone expects you to be this amazing fighter if it's your first time. Everyone seems to, a crowd will seem to look at the people with swords because that's what they want to see, the action, the knights, the glory ones.
Okay.
But we will start them usually a spear. But a good spearman should be able to stop a swordsman any time. They've got distance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Iris, if she came running at me, the first thing I would do is hold with a stick and point her.
Nick, tell me something. What is the most easiest weapon to master and the hardest one to master?
Oh, the easiest weapon to master would be the crossbow.
It's just point and shoot.
It is literally point and shoot. So in Scotland, the crossbow is actually deemed a weapon of mass destruction.
Really?
Okay.
Because back in the medieval times, the amount of damage it could do to someone. So the Pope turned around and went, right, it's a weapon of mass destruction. Oh, sorry, he's Italian. A weapon of mass destruction. And then he made us an offer he couldn't refuse. And they said that no Christian could loose a bolt on another Christian. However, if you are Jew, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, any other religion apart from Christianity, yeah, fair game, shoot. And it was a case of you pull the string back, you load the bolt, pull trigger.
Yeah, so like anyone could do basically.
Anyone could do it. The hardest to probably is a good sword, because your mace is a blunt hammer, basically. You're just smacking people with it. Your axe, again, it's the same kind of thing. You can hook people. It's a little bit more advanced. A spear, you can start to get more fancy and add different point work in. A bow is just practice. But a sword, you need to practice against someone constantly. And the fact that they're trying to do the same to you, there's a lot of different things all happening at once. You could be fighting someone. I could fight Iris right now, and one of our neighbors could come out with an axe and try and hit me. Which, we're in Aberdeen, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
So I would say the hardest weapon to master properly would be a sword, because you've got so many different ways to fight with it, so many different things that can affect you, and the easiest would definitely be a crossbow, point and shoot.
When you're talking about the sword, you can the long ones, the short ones, any kind of sword.
Any kind of sword. Everyone's got their advantages. Everyone's got disadvantages. So with the shorter swords, it is one hand. It means you can have a shield in one hand, another sword, an axe, something else to use with. But that means that you're blocked on one side. You can't really reach over.
Yeah.
It's also much lighter. Whereas this one, yes, it's got distance and reach, but if you start using it with two hands, you've got no shield. Everything has to now move about with that. So each weapon has an advantage and a disadvantage.
Okay.
Can we go just a bit back first? Like when you guys were asking about the reenactment roles, there's another thing that I think might be interesting to speak about. Like for example, imagine I don't want to be a fighter, but I just want to be part of the reenactment world.
Absolutely.
Would I also be like, I don't know, in my case, I'm a seamstress, so would I sort of get into that as,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
interest of, you know, how they did things in that era?
Most reenactment groups, they will, the focus first and foremost is living history. So with us, we've got what we call guilds. The same as what you would find in most Dungeons & Dragons, adventure games, any kind of role-playing thing. We have guilds, and we have weavers who practice the weaving, the knitting, the dyeing, the sewing, all done from the 1300s. We've got the kitchen, who practice recipes
Mm-hmm.
from that era. We've got the blacksmith. We've got our forge. Our blacksmith on the forge. We've got our pole lathe worker who's doing woodwork. We've got our troubadours. So basically telling jokes and stories, and all the way through to an armory display. We've got seamstresses, hunting. So that's a lovely couple who have got about 4,000 great big wolfhounds.
Oh.
It's probably about 4, but it feels like 4,000 when they walk about. So there's no pressure to be a fighter. A fighter can be an optional thing that you want to explore. Whereas most groups will set up to be living history to show you crafts, the lifestyle, the heritage of the past.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like a medieval fair of some sort?
A bit like a medieval Renaissance fair, where they are mostly there for the stalls, what the people think medieval is, but not what medieval could actually be.
Maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost LARP, but at the same time it's not.
Yeah,
because there would have been entertainment, there would have been singers, there would have been people selling food. It's a bit like the Heath Ledger movie, A Knight's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
They had people singing songs. They had people going, "Rat on a stick, get your rat on a stick."
Rat on the stick sounds great.
There would have been people going about selling these things, trying to get people involved and make a living. And that's what we try and promote within our group as well. Not just fighting. We like to show, and from every aspect as well, from the children, the women's side, the men's side, the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the biggest reenactment event you have here in Scotland? Like, if people wanted to visit and really go for that sort of thing?
The biggest reenactment event at the moment in Scotland. You have a couple of different ones. You have the Linlithgow jousting event, in which there is live jousting, and at the same time, different camps with different periods.
Where is that one?
Linlithgow is about 10 miles west of 15 miles west of Edinburgh.
Okay.
Then we've got Traquair House, which is in Traquair, and that's a huge amount. But at the moment, this year is going to be part of Duncarron. So Duncarron is a purpose-built medieval fort. So you go through the middle of the woods walking, and suddenly there's a medieval fort.
Ooh.
Proper wooden stake wall, bodies hanging off it, flags everywhere, and you go in and there's long houses and shelters and forges working, and they're going to be doing a great big mixed event there. So as you walk up the path, you've got trenches from World War One. You've got Girl Guides from America trying to sell you cookies. You've got the Picts, the angry blue painted Scottish people running around stone circles, all the way through up to the Jacobites. We've got muskets firing. We've got horses going about, us lot with our swords.
I'm just thinking, like I guess since the blue paint is such a big thing in movies, like, where did that come from? From what age is that?
So that is, when we talk about the blue paint,
That's
it's
a Highlander thing.
no, it's Pictish. So in Scotland, roughly about anywhere between 500 BC to 500 AD. That's changed now to CE or whatever it is now. I can't keep up all these things. You have different tribes in Scotland, a bit like you have in every country, different kingdoms or tribes as they start out. And the Romans come along as they do, and going, Veni Vici, we builded a wall, we come to take over. And a bunch of Scots went, nah, pal, nae chance. And these were the Picts. And the Picts were so called because apparently they were called the painted people. And what they did was they take woad. Now, woad is a plant which can be a bit poisonous. When you mix it with the right liquid, i.e. pee,
with the right liquid.
You turn it into this lovely paint, and you paint it on whatever area is showing. So you wear your clothes, so you paint it on your arms, paint your face, you paint it on your granny, your grandpa, your children, and you send them into battle.
Okay.
And it was their idea of magical armor. And it's also a great antiseptic. So I could cut myself, wipe this paint over, the bleeding stops, and it's not infected because you've got the urine, you've got the plant, and it's very early medicine as well. But they didn't know that the plant and the urine mixed in the blood is an aggressive drug that makes you turn around and just... So if
Oh god.
red-haired, angry Scottish people weren't enough, you just made them angrier by painting them.
Oh, nice.
So that's where the blue comes from, the woad.
Okay.
It's like they don't tell us these things.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Because there's another movie where I think you have, is it Keira Knightley?
The Smurfs.
Arthur.
And she has those paints as well.
Arthur is another wonderful, wonderful film. However,
Oh boy.
to say it's as accurate as Braveheart is not fair because it's a legend of King Arthur.
Mm.
So we don't know if King Arthur existed. We don't know if he was just a fairy tale like Robin Hood. It's one of these things, and they have Keira Knightley coming out in leather straps and blue paint. Not flattering at all for her. Then again, what is on her?
Be mean.
I've got bigger boobs than her.
Well, lucky. But yeah, I remember they actually edited the cover with her, and it was like, this is awkward.
It's yeah, so that is very much a fantasy film.
Yeah, because
The Roman stuff's nice.
I remember
Thanks,
it
sir.
being kind of out of nowhere as well, because she just seemed normal before, and then suddenly she's wearing all of this gear, and it's like,
Mm.
why?
It's they tried to incorporate a bit of Scotland and the wildlings and all this kind of thing into something that is stereotypically English. So you think of King Arthur and his Knights Round Table, it's an English folktale.
Mhm.
But in Scotland, we don't really have King Arthur.
Oh,
We have more of the William Wallaces, the Robert Bruces.
Okay.
It was almost like it was a propaganda story.
Okay.
yeah, and again, it's just if you're from outside, you don't really know what's behind, and you're like, oh yeah, this is so cool.
It's a nice movie. I will leave it there.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Can you tell us what's the story behind the kilt, not under it?
Oh, the
Yeah.
kilt. That kilt. The kilt. So apparently people call it a skirt, but no, we call it a kilt because that's what we do to people who call it a skirt. We kilt them. So when we get to late 1600s, 1700s in Scotland, we have people who have, this is what I love. We've gone from people dressing up in leather kind of furs to wool to legless to nothing under it. But the kilt, so the kilt started off as just a great big blanket. So we've got two kilts in Scotland.
Mm.
We've got the filly moor and the filly beg. Basically, the great big plaid, the one that goes over the Braveheart one. That is the filly beg, and that literally translates as the big blanket.
Oh,
So it became your clothing when you're out hunting, when you're out farming. If you're out overnight, you just pull it over your head and you sleep. But in 1745, 1746, we have the downfall of the Jacobites, which was a huge thing around the world. And the kilt was taken away. So the government, the king at the time said, well, no one should have their Scottish identity left. Gaelic was no longer spoken. Songs and poems about the glory of Scotland and the Highlanders was taken away from them. Their kilts were taken away from them until many years later, a book was written about Scotland and how romantic it was and the wonderful Highlands and the Roman and the Gloamin and the Midges, and they made it sound very romantic. And the king at the time was then told, come up to Edinburgh, come and see us. And he had a kilt made for him, which was brilliant because it was a king that took our kilt away and now we're shoving a kilt on one.
Oh.
And at that point, we had all these nobles going, oh, well, we should kind of have our own kilts. And we should be back to being proud Scotsmen. And, well, if you're having red, I'm having blue. Well, if you're having blue, I want green. Oh, I want yellow. I want burgundy. I want this. And suddenly we've got the kilt is recreated into what we know now as just the one that goes around the waist, the little blanket.
Mm-hmm.
The tartans no clan tartans existed originally. It was just whatever flowers and plants you had around you at the time. If you've got daffodils glowing, you've got yellows. If you've got more purple flowers, you've got purples. If you've got roses, you've got reds. And then later they all tried to be fancier than each other, which is, you know what, nothing's really changed.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I remember that the clan stuff was pretty serious at some point, wasn't it? Like I had a colleague that said even she remembers her was it grandparents really fighting with another family. It was a clans thing, and
some clans take it very seriously. There are still people out there who report to their clan chief.
oh,
Really?
For instance, Rose Leslie, who is married to Kit Harington of Game of Thrones fame, her dad is the Leslie clan chief.
Oh.
And lives not far from where we are actually, in Huntly. We have the Clan Monroe up in Inverness, and they have a gathering every 5 years, and they get Monroes from all around the world to visit. And there's so many, not all the clan chiefs are in Scotland. There's a few in Australia.
Oh.
There's a few in Spain. There's a few in Italy. I think there's one or two even in Portugal.
Oh.
And it's just because they've moved away over the years, and people, well, they moved to other countries, and their names continue, and they're maybe next in line after such and such, such and such, such and such dies.
Okay.
But nowadays, the clans fighting each other is not so much a thing of clans, more a couple of families just not getting on for a few generations. Your granny said this to my granny.
Oh,
I'm gonna kick you
yeah.
in the shins. Your granda slept with my granda. Oh.
but what does it mean to be the chief of a clan really nowadays?
It's just a title.
Yeah, because you have your
there's tax write-offs, there's monetary gains, there's it's not as much as it was before, in which the clan all came along at a party and gave you an offering or asked for a blessing. It's just a title now. It's a chance to go, oh, well, I am the clan chief of. Well, probably not with that fancy accent, more like, I'm the clan chief of.
Okay.
That reminds me though, there's a way anyone can be a lady or lord of Scotland, isn't there?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah,
the internet.
Yeah, the internet.
Are you having ideas, Iris?
Yes, I want to be a lady of like a meter square or something.
Well, I've seen these before, and I know people who have got them, and they do get certificates saying, I am Lord ABC.
Really?
And you can have your license, your driving license change, your passport change to say Lord or Lady, Duchess,
Really?
Duke, Countess. But the land you own is 1 foot by 1 foot.
Oh, 1 foot by 1 foot.
So
okay.
what I would love to see one day is to own one of these 1 foot by 1 foot, stand there with a flamethrower, taking over everyone else's.
This is my land.
Up the hill going, we'd like you to stop. Stand there going, what army? This is my land now. Fight me for it.
Come to fight.
So I think that sort of appeared to help them upkeep a natural reserve or something.
It's a great way for, so you pay however much it is. So different websites do different prices and taxes, all kind of thing. And it's their way of getting more funds in to look after the environment around it.
Oh,
so
nice.
Glencoe is one of the areas, and that means that the money there would go help the mountain rescue in Glencoe, or the heritage preservation, or just any kind of other charity that needs help with Glencoe.
Nice.
We have something like this in Portugal. I mean,
You are not becoming a lady of Portugal.
no, we have someone who claims he's supposed to be the king of Portugal. Supposed to.
Suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has
We
anyone?
we also have one guy that bought an island and made himself a prince. So
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's true.
There are some people who have bought old oil rigs, and they're just far enough off that you can call it a country. They have their own president, they have a king, they have a committee, they have a currency, they have a flag.
Okay.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
okay. So this warned me again. We have to go for a little break, and we'll be
Yeah,
right back
back.
for our last part for our live today.
Okay. So
Okay.
see you. See you. Hello, people. We are back, and Nick. Where's
He's trying.
Where's
He's
Iris?
trying to.
You do something to. Oh, okay. There's. Oh, okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Ah.
That's for what the X is for.
Oh my God. Kibi's alive. Okay. Oh no! Don't tell. No.
Yeah, survived so far.
Yes, right. Okay.
Okay, so people in the chat, if you have any more questions,
Yes.
this is our last part because Nick has to go on his business.
His business. Business.
um,
I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about like food here in Scotland, like the gastronomy stuff. Yes, because there's a reason.
And what's the reason?
I think the why your food is how it is very similar to how our food is how it is.
Mm.
Well, if you are a student in Aberdeen, the main dish will be super noodles or baked beans on toast.
I mean, in the reenactments stuff.
So when it comes to reenactment stuff, we eat a modern representation of the food they would have had, because obviously some things have moved on, like some carrots. When we think of carrots, we think of carrots being orange, but that's only because they've been cross-pollinated from Holland.
Oh.
Whereas originally carrots, Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, parts of France, Spain, even Portugal, white and purple.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't
And
know that.
we're talking about that big.
Oh.
But they're very sweet, more crunchy than the normal carrots we have now. And if you put them in a soup, it looks disgusting.
Probably.
But we don't really, we can have seeds, we can grow them. But for the ease, we buy normal carrots and say, this is a modern representation. Bread would have been very, well, it's almost crunchy. You know, the baguette style, we call it crusty.
Yeah.
So it's a nice hard crust on it that you bite into. And so a bit like that, more flatter, not sliced up. Apples, pears, no bananas, no coconuts. And the biggest thing that kids find amazing is there was no chips. We have soup, we have different meat. So pork, beef, chicken, duck, venison, all on a spit roast, all cooking away. And to just walk up with your knife and peel a bit off and walk away.
Nice.
And depending who's cooking that day, there might be some garlic in it, might be thyme, might be a bit of cheese. So you can have a nice bit of beef with cheese on it.
What about the traditional stuff that you guys have?
The traditional stuff.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the haggis, sneeps, and
Like
ties.
stovies.
Stovies!
And stuff like that. And fish and chips. What is that?
Right, fish and chips. Fish and chaps. Fish and chips is a delicacy.
Oh.
Which is a lie.
It is a lie.
Fish and chips is a battered fish, deep fried with chips.
Ah. That's the name.
That's it.
Fish and chips.
We also do battered sausages, battered pork ribs, battered burgers, battered pizza, battered Mars bars.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Stovies. So the idea of stovies comes from, it's a generation that, we live in a generation where we have a lot of technology. We've got ease of internet, ease of food with shopping. But when you look at the generations where farming was the big thing, and it must have been the same over in Portugal, where people had a lot of farms and they worked all day and they came home, they were tired, they just wanted a good meal, maybe a stiff drink, and to go to bed.
Okay.
So what we have, and Ireland has a very similar dish. And what we do is we take a pot, or nowadays a slow cooker, and we shove in beef, potatoes, carrots, neeps, onions, leek, and we just leave that with gravy and we leave it stewing, and it just becomes a great big pot mess. And you just take a scoop of it, slab it down, and you just
Does
Oh,
that sound really?
really tasty.
We kind of have the same thing where we just throw stuff
Mhm.
on the pan, and that's about it.
Yeah. South Africa has a dish called poikikos, and it translates as the pot mess,
Oh,
where you just throw in meat and vegetables and gravy and the occasional red wine. You just mix it up and leave it to cook over the day. You come in and you've just got this thing,
this
that you eat.
thing.
and
Okay.
it tastes good with a little bit of ketchup. Everything tastes good with ketchup.
Hmm. Interesting.
And then, of course, we've
It's
got
a kind
our,
of the soup with ketchup.
yeah.
yes. And then we've got, of course, haggis, neeps, and tatties.
What is haggis?
And we've got our black pudding. So I'll explain the black pudding first,
Okay.
and
Okay.
our red pudding, because if you don't like that, you will hate haggis.
Okay.
So I want you to imagine that you have a herd of cows. You're going to take them to market. You start walking with them. You have a little bag full of oats and barley and grain, and you get hungry. And you pour your bag of oats into a bowl, and you take a knife and you stab into the neck of a cow. The blood runs out all warm and thick and gelling, and you just take a dock leaf or any kind of leaf and you wipe up the mess and you seal it up, and you just mix the blood in with your oats so it's nice and warm and thick, and you eat.
Why not?
Red pudding.
Mm.
However, if you were to take that and put in a frying pan, fried blood and oats, black pudding.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so that's the difference.
Yeah,
Oh.
Came from different things.
they can be different animals, but haggis, neeps, and tatties. So tatties are potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
and they can be whole potatoes, they can be mashed, they can be
Maybe this?
baby potatoes, stuff with nose. Let's get fancy. Neeps are Swede turnips, again mashed up. Haggis.
Mm.
Haggis is gorgeous. So when you take a sheep and you take the meat off it, you take its fleece, you sell that for clothing, your meat, your sinew, all your strands, and everything, and you make a nice string out of that. You have all the bits that are left: the heart, the lungs, the stomach.
Mm.
You take the heart and the lungs and you stuff it into the stomach, along with oats and spices and pepper. You tie the ends up and you boil it.
Sounds great.
You then cut it open.
Okay.
It pours out, and you take great spoonfuls of it and you mix it with a lovely whiskey sauce.
Ah. Okay.
As Robbie Burns once said, warm, reeking, rich.
Okay.
Why did I just think of Gollum?
My precious.
But yeah, you're talking about Burns. You guys have like a tradition, Burns Night. What is that about?
So Burns Night is a celebration, the life and death of Robert Burns. He was the poet laureate of Scotland. All around the world at New Year's, everyone sings Auld Lang Syne. That was his piece of work. He wrote things like Te Moose, which he wrote a poem about a mouse. He was a farmer. He just about destroyed a mouse's house on his land, so he wrote a poem. Oh dear, timorous wee beastie. Oh dear. To a kiss. To a rose. My love is like a red, red rose. It's newly sprung in June. He wrote some. He loved the ladies, and the ladies loved him. Let's just say that. A Fond Kiss. That's the one I was thinking of. A Fond Kiss. My love is like a red, red rose. Auld Lang Syne. Hearts in the Highland. He wrote so many different songs, and poems. But he wrote the address to a haggis. And every year, at the end of January, people around the world still will get together and they'll have what they think a haggis is, except in America because it's illegal to ship anything that has animal heart in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they will address the haggis. And it goes on about how warm and rich is haggis. With their knife, they split it open. And the juices dripping like amber bead. And it's warm, reeking, rich. So if there's a lady in your life and you love her, gie her a haggis.
Okay.
I think my wife would throw up with that.
Robbie Burns stuff has. So on that night we address the ladies. So a gentleman will get up and do a very, very sensible. The women are our life, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our grannies, our aunties, and he'll do a really nice toast to the women in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then the women get up and slag the men. To the men who never put up the shelf. To the men who never mow the grass. To the men who just go,
Okay.
aye, be there 2 minutes, aye, click. And we address the bar, we have our haggis, and then we have a ceilidh, which is all the Scottish country dancing to bagpipes, violins, and accordions.
Oh, nice.
And usually it's just a lot of men in kilts drinking whiskey and running in circles. A ceilidh is somewhere like a barn dance and mixed martial arts.
Oh, that's a twist.
Not work.
If you do not leave a ceilidh with a bruise on your arm, you haven't done it right. And that's just the women dancing with the men.
Ah, okay.
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 I have a question here on the live chat. Amartox is asking, do you have pork on a stick roasting?
Pork on a stick. Oh, yeah, spit roast. Oh, absolutely. We'd like to get a nice big lump pork, spit through, cut slices in so we can stick in different herbs and just leave it the whole day, just slowly roasting.
Yeah.
Go up, slice a bit off.
That's a delicacy. Okay.
I'm just gonna go back to the questions, guys. So
Okay.
Yeah.
time-
Yeah. Sure.
so
Do the
besides all
ninth
this-
one, it's the last one.
Besides all this, you're also a musician. How that happened?
I am a musician. I have been for about 10 years now. Well, more than that, been a professional musician for about 10 years now. And it started off with I used to work part-time in a cafe running their bar. And he says he's this himself, this wee fat baldy manny came in and he set up an open mic. And I was told by my friends at the time, get up, go have a sing song, go do it. So I got up and I did a few of them, always with a nice pint of beer in my hand. And he asked me to join them in what they were doing. And next I know I was doing Michael Bublé tributes. I didn't have a beard at the time. Frank Sinatra, into more rockier music. Then I started to bring my guitar along and playing pubs and clubs and weddings, all the way to the point where there's going to be an album being released at the end of the year.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
So that's, but in Scotland, there's been no real music at the moment. The
Um,
lovely world we live in.
Yeah, but
I actually saw some videos of you singing on your Instagram page, and it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different playing to, I mean, you guys will probably know as well, to be able to speak to each other like this over a screen is very different to seeing people in person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you had your viewers around you in a room, you could so easily pick on them, play with the, and just,
Yeah.
It's much easier in a live crowd. And it's the same with music. You don't know what people are dancing to. You don't know what people are singing along to. You could play songs that you think are amazing, but the people watching are going, that was crap. Play this. I want to hear this. Right, we're going to do this. Yeah.
If it was an English person, this is garbage.
My goodness, Mildred. Change the channel.
Okay.
Okay, Nick.
Okay.
So we know that you have to go. It's your hour. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and
Yeah.
being here today with us,
Thank you.
showing your reenacting. It's really good, and almost killing Iris. It was the best part of it.
Yeah.
We'll get you famous somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
If your
glad-
pictures doesn't work, you can be killed by Nick.
Well, we have some ideas, by the way, so let's go over it.
You have ideas?
Mm.
Okay, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you also for our viewers that were here today with us.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do it again in the future. Talk a little bit just about your singing, if you want, or not.
Or not.
And
Yeah.
and we'll see you again, everybody, on next week.
Yep.
And again, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
here
much.
today.
So people,
Thank you, guys.
see you next
See you
live.
guys. I'm actually on holidays next week, but yay!
We're on
Yay.
holidays next week.
Yeah.
Bye, people. See you next week.
Bye. See ya. Now let me find. Okay. So see you people. Where? Okay.